Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between. I am your host, James J, with Kaliko Yas, who is not here, Mitch Mayhem, who is also not here. But hey, look who is here, Scooter Dust.
This is the way.
And the way is a great day for wrestling. We are at our 90th episode, if you could imagine that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't think we were
10,
going to get past episode 4.
10 more and we can go into syndication.
Yay! And if you've been keeping up with any of us on social media or on YouTube or Castbox, you know that we have been doing some interesting interviews as of late. Last week we interviewed Christian Robinson, the psychedelic psychonaut. Wasn't that a great interview?
That was a great interview. Um, Especially considering that in the back you could hear that he was watching what I assume was the WWE network. Maybe it was something on DVR, but that's Christian Robinson is an indie worker who is a dedicated fan and lover of the craft. So if you get a chance, check out that interview, an inside look at what it's like to be an indie wrestler in this current global climate.
And next week we have lined up during Wednesday night Dynamite and NXT. That's when all our interviews drop. We will be interviewing DVN, and that should be a very interesting interview as well. She's doing a
Yes,
lot of interesting things as of late.
yes, Demian, one of the not exactly a rookie, so to speak. Does have a bit of experience.
8 years in the
Uh,
business.
um, in the Northeast area, or my area, neck of the woods. Has done some work for New England Championship Wrestling, which before the pandemic was one of the indie promotions that was not known, but you should know about it because they would get the talent like they would get WWE's talent to make appearances and everything. But a very very interesting resume for Debian, and of course our first interview with a female professional wrestler. Now, before you go, uh, before you take to the message boards and chastise us for bringing gender into this, we promise we will not really make it so much about gender to us, but more maybe about what Devian's opinions are on women in pro wrestling.
Absolutely. It's definitely going to be an interview you do not want to miss. Also, lined up in a couple weeks, hopefully we'll get you that Bam Bam Malone interview. Some scheduling conflicts prevented us from doing it this week. But yeah, every Wednesday during Dynamite and NXT, you can hear a great independent wrestler story on Wrestling with interviews from Wrestling with Entertainment.
Not sure if we need to come up with a catchy name. We'll think of something,
Wrestling with interviews. And
or, or like a subtitle.
we could talk about it.
Yeah.
Definitely something else we need to talk about, or maybe at least address. Mitch actually brought this to my attention last week on the show. Karl Anderson's wife writ on his face, cheater, liar, all very inappropriate things, and then later on went to Instagram to say that he's a liar and a cheater and has left her. After that post, I believe it was deleted. Karl Anderson made a statement claiming that it was all some type of storyline and all is well. Scooter, walk or shoot?
Well, this is I comment a lot about my time in the business. Um, and what a lot of people don't know about my time in the business is that I started with my then fiance at the time, and we started training together. And where the unspoken rules is, don't don't really work together or start out together. Forming relationships while you're working, that's one thing. However, it's just however, Karl Anderson, if if he is bringing his wife into a storyline, I can't exactly see how that would pan out, considering uh his focal point is the tag team division of Impact. Um, this could be a just a. I don't want to. I don't want to use the term work because I don't think this will play out into a storyline. But I think it's possible Karl Anderson's wife was possibly feeling neglected or something else happened, and she was trying to get his attention. Who knows?
I think only they know at this point.
Yeah. Um, there is another story from last week that I also want to
I think we were,
elaborate
I believe we're
on.
talking about Kylie Rae maybe retiring.
Yes, and she apparently has. Um,
That's truly a shame.
uh, and we were speculating on what was going on with Kylie Rae. I speculated that this really seemed like it was the behavior of someone with a possible uh I don't want to say mental issue, but mental health related.
Yeah.
And not only is she leaving the business, but she's also leaving social media
And,
to
there is a
focus on
lot
it.
of things going on in the world. And, you know, being a wrestler, and there's a lot of critics, and sometimes, when you're not in the best mental health state, you can't really maybe determine what's a shoot and what's a work. I can't imagine that all hasn't, weighed on her mind. So I'm happy for her. Hopefully she gets into a better place in her life, and hopefully this isn't the last we hear of her in pro wrestling.
Yes, and also we should probably acknowledge Brock Lesnar's great ability to cosplay as Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You haven't seen Brock's new beard? Or
No,
goatee and mustache, I should say?
no, I have not. Okay, this is
Oh
something
my,
I need to.
oh my God! It's so odd looking for for somebody with hair like Brock, who is, I believe, a natural blonde, but not like typical blonde we associate with you know California and Valley girls, but almost more towards like albino white.
I
And the beard just looks so like different and interesting to the point where it got people wondering if this meant a possible face return for Brock. Of course, it most likely doesn't, but it was just very
I was
weird
just
to
going to
see.
say, what does a beard and goatee mean for turning face?
Well, you know
Usually, facial
how
hair indicates heel turn.
uh the the change in appearance or ring gear, usually that's more associated with title changes. And Rob Van Dam was the first to establish this precedent, because every time Rob Van Dam came back and he had new tights, new trunks in a title match, he won.
RVD always had
Uh,
the sweetest ring gear of any wrestler.
but just imagine Jim Neidhart with a blonde goatee and mustache.
I
It's
tried to
just
find it, but I could not find it. But
uh, what's it? I will find it eventually.
okay, message it to me. um, moving forward, um, Cody got his last name back. He's Cody Rhodes again.
Yes,
That doesn't seem
yes,
like a big newsworthy story, but it kind of is, right?
yes, yes. It is. I will also add to this that the WWE has released a new Dusty Rhodes shirt
And soon
that
they're actually releasing a new action figure as well.
yes, and Kevin Owens was seen sporting it on SmackDown last night.
Hmm.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Something coming in here. Uh, with regards to the Kylie Rae situation, Kylie Rae announcing she was no longer a professional wrestler. She was unwell and needed to get better. But she would have bound for glory. Uh, According to the Wrestling Observer, Impact has issued a gag order.
Pertaining to.
Kylie Rae. Hence why nobody has said anything about
Okay.
Kylie Rae. Right thing to do here.
That's that's interesting on Impact's part. But going back to Cody, uh, you know that last name holds a lot of weight. The Rhodes. and it's a big deal that he could be Cody Rhodes again.
Yes, that really does uh mean a lot. Um, some I don't know if there was any sort of legal battle involved
I think maybe
with this.
a legal negotiation, possibly.
Um, because I don't know. I don't know when Dusty passed if Dustin or Cody or if they were both put in charge of his estate or if he even had an estate. But um, yeah, getting that last name back means so much in today's era of professional wrestling, especially when the WWE is taking away taking away. They used to take away last names. Now they're taking away first names because Matt Riddle is now Riddle, just Riddle.
I wonder what
And
his first name is. It's a riddle.
and it's friggin' ridiculous. Matt Riddle apparently loves the idea. You know, give me some of whatever he's smoking. But
Would be
it's
hard to find.
Cody retaining the last name of Rhodes. It's it. I see it as both a great thing and also a bad thing.
How do you mean?
Uh, Great because the name is synonymous with the classic era of pro wrestling.
Second most recognizable, only to Muhammad Ali.
hmm but bad because it makes you question if Cody had the confidence in himself to step out of the Rhodes shadow and succeed without being recognized by name alone.
Well, I can make the argument that he kind of has. I mean,
That I would say that too. I would also ponder if he's worrying about his popularity slipping. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
I get you. Um, the only thing I see about it is that it's his last name and it's a legacy. So why
I
would
mean, technically, it's not his real last name.
well, yeah, but you know what I mean. It's a legacy that he wants to continue. And Charlotte was Charlotte, and then they added Flair afterwards. You know, because it's
Yeah,
that legacy of this. I want to add to the already legacy that I had that my father started, and now I'm adding to it.
yeah.
No, the one thing that I wanted to say about that was there may have been some legal negotiation because AEW was trying to trademark Slamboree and another WCW paid preview. And it appears that WWE dropped the trademark for Cody Rhodes and AEW dropped the trademark for Slamboree. So do you believe that that maybe went into something into this negotiation, Scooter?
Um, Possibly. Um, yes, the WWE did surrender the trademark for it. I know AEW also picked up a new trademark on uh, a video game, and also um, for a couple of other things too. I think there was it was something related to war games. I forget what it was.
Because it kind of seemed like and we're going to talk about AEW a lot on this show because we're going to be covering, we'll be doing speculations for Full Gear, which is about to be on in a couple hours. But do you think that AEW has gone way too fast in 2 years?
Hmm.
I mean,
I I think that's a matter of perspective, quite honestly. It really depends on who you ask. By the way, Brock's pictures in the chat. Um,
oh damn, yeah.
um, some would say AEW's gone too fast. Some will say AEW has gone fast enough. Some will say AEW is right where they need to be. Um, and quite honestly, I think oh, we'll have to look at really the third year
Fair enough. That being said,
because
yeah,
um, the third year of a the wrestling promotion is really where they start to turn like everything around and start really making the money. You know, WrestleMania 3. Uh, when WCW splitting off from the NWA. In that, I believe the third year. Um, also maintaining an association with the NWA. Um, ECW really gaining popularity in 1997 after being formed in 1994, technically 1992, but picked up in 94, really becoming popular in 97 during the start of the Attitude Era. So I think we still have to wait to see and judge AEW.
I think that's a fair assessment. Um, Allysin Kay, left
Yes.
her NWA this week and is making her AEW debut on actually today, later today,
Uh,
against
uh,
Serena Deeb for the, ironically enough, NWA Championship.
um, it's funny because I'm actually on Facebook friends with Allysin Kay.
Oh, really?
Um, yes, and she posted a picture of one of her most recent matches. It was a hardcore match, and,
Bloodsport.
and um and it was just a picture of her left butt cheek in her trunks with a big bruise saying, "This is what happens when you take a staple gun to the ass."
Ouch.
Thanks. I think it. God, I forget again. It might have been Thunder Rosa.
I never heard Thunder Rosa using a stapler.
No, well, no. I'm. Uh, all right. I'll remember who it is eventually.
Um, we've talked a lot about the AEW women's roster, and how lackluster it's been in this first year. Is Allysin Kay going to uh upgrade the women's division? Is she going to be lack of talent to wrestle, or is it gonna kind of gonna stay the same?
Well, I mean, hopefully she finds a whole new ground, a whole new fan base in AEW. So hopefully it will bring a little more credence to AEW's female division.
You know, and Kaliko's gonna hate me for saying this. Allysin Kay's NWA run was lackluster, and I never really saw her personality come out during that run.
Oh, and by the way, it would the staple gun to the ass was from a match against Mrs. John Morrison, Taya Valkyrie.
Hey, and she got third-degree burns in return. Um, so maybe this is something that will work for her, but I don't know. Allysin Kay is missing something, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a heel turn, maybe it's a face turn, maybe it's a lack of identity, but maybe she'll find it in AEW.
Yeah, I really I really hope she does.
And
Uh,
lastly, on yeah,
no, I'm just gonna say because she's over 12 years of experience. Also former Impact women's champion. Also one of the few female wrestlers who was a former Global Force women's champion. Um, so yeah, I hope this is the beginning of a new start for Allysin Kay.
absolutely. And it wouldn't be a wrestling podcast if we didn't talk a little bit about WWE. The Royal Rumble is rumored to be and possibly be the only show to actually have a crowd. Um, it seems like WWE has had the slowest start when it came to this pandemic. They still don't have fans for WWE TV. Um, they were supposed to have them in November. That got pushed back to February, and it seems like they can't get off the ground with getting a crowd back in the arenas. Does that really have anything to do with them, or what are your thoughts on that?
Um, well, considering uh, the Thunderdome is expected to last into February, although there are rumors of moving the Thunderdome to a new venue. Um, the rumor is the WWE is working on something to allow fans to be present for that specific show. I'm thinking fans are going to be in boxes in plexiglass or plastic, tall rectangular boxes. Hopefully, they're ventilated. Because
that is a visual.
that's the only way they would probably be able to do it, because they can't do what Major League Baseball is doing with blocking off seats and having people sit 6 feet apart,
Or what AEW is doing.
or what AEW is doing either. I mean, quite honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE starts charging to be on the Thunderdome.
That is, yeah, but who would want to watch the Thunderdome? Who would pay to be on the Thunderdome when it's on your crappy laptop with a bad feed? When you could watch it on a 60-inch TV for $9.99.
The it's I would assume it would be some sort of like package deal. Like, I would even say, like, the WWE was doing the 3D cameras, the 360 cameras, I should say, and I'm kind of surprised they haven't really tried to capitalize on that.
Right.
Watching a pay-per-view and giving the fans the opportunity to actually switch the angle themselves instead of relying on Kevin friggin' Dunn.
So do you think that they're actually going to get this done by January to maybe get fans, or do you think we're going to be waiting till 2022 to see crowds in a WWE arena again?
God, I
I know
mean,
it's a hard question.
at this point, at this point, we're gonna have to learn to live with COVID the same way we learned to live with the flu, with the chicken pox, with all that, and just let a herd immunity develop. And I know that's some people might call that stupid science, but no, I'm not saying it'll go away naturally, but that's the progression of evolution. The more people are exposed to this, and I'm not saying people should go out and get exposed to it. I'm saying
I mean, enough people have.
these these wild, I don't even want to say wild, but these massive attempts to contain COVID, to prevent it from spreading, have done the opposite.
Right.
Like, no one has realized that if you just let people go and live their lives without restriction, I would guarantee we would see fans in a WWE arena sooner rather than later.
I hope that's the case. Until then, we will conclude our coverage of the news.